Another chapter has begun. Two hearts.
When we go back to Germany, it would actually allow me to get a green card for Tony, and he could live there and work there.
We'll be more on an equal level, I feel like, going to be in Berlin, if we live in Berlin, because here Tony is the one working, he brings home the money, and I'm more in a role where I do the household chores because I feel like I should be doing those because he's working all day long, he comes home. So I feel like I should be doing things at home, cooking and cleaning and all of that. And I remember when we lived in Germany, Tony did all of those things. You were going shopping, you were doing the dishes, you were doing all of that. I was working full time, and I was bringing home the money. And so going to Berlin, living there, it will be once again more equal. And
well, but this is the first time we're really equal. I mean, that's the interesting thing.
We don't really know.
Yeah, no, but I think like you brought up an interesting point, because the first time we lived in Germany, I was at a major disadvantage because legally I was not equal to a German either. And now that he lives in the United States, I mean, he's not equal to an American. So he doesn't have the same rights. He can't work. He can't do half the things that we can do. But now that Germany has like changed their laws, for the first time, and really in 10 years, for the first time, we're actually going to be equal.
I wonder if we're going to just break up because we don't know what to do. It's like, now
what do we do? Like, you know.
I need to talk to you, so please pick up the line. I need to see you. We've wasted so much precious time.
This will be our last year to be together for traditional holidays.
I mean, they're our best friends. Like, we do everything with them. And it's like, it's just going to be really sad because not only are we going to leave the country and we're going to leave our friends behind, but we're leaving our family, our friends, we're leaving everything, and we're gonna miss it so much. And you know, I don't even know what we're gonna do because half our free time is spent with them. So I don't know. It's gonna be, and especially the trips to the Southwest. I'm gonna miss that so much because that's like a yearly tradition, something we always do. It's really sad.
Since I don't have my family here, Frida and Ken have become my family in San Diego, and I really consider them family. If people say, "Oh, where are you going tonight?" and I tell them, "Oh, I'll go over to my family." And they're like, "Oh, you have family here?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do actually have family here," and I just consider them my family, and it's going to be hard.
I feel it's very unfair for Tony and Thomas to have to leave, not because they want to, but because they have to.
I think at this point, I've resigned myself to feel that Tony and Thomas need to think of going to Berlin as a whole new opportunity for a whole new life.
It's just unfortunate that the law is just not right, and I hope that it would change soon so that they could come back whenever they wanted to. When we talk about human rights, whose human rights are you talking about? It should be applied equally to everyone. So that's how I feel about it. I don't like it, I don't agree with it, and I'm not going to accept it. So hopefully the law will change.
We're not going to accept it. When Tony and Thomas leave, the work there is going to continue. You know, Tony, his determination and his perseverance didn't just come by itself. I'm proud to say it came from me, and it's just started. It is not going away, and it's not stopping until things change here. We have Tony to thank for meeting each other, because Tony convinced me to go to Asia, travel to Asia, backpack through China, backpack through Thailand. At one point, Tony said, "Okay, Mom, you're strong enough to do it on your own now." And he said goodbye, and he left for Sumatra. And I was left alone in Thailand, and I made my way through Thailand, and en route to Malaysia, I met Kim.
look at it. Not so long ago, um, even in some states, they don't even allow interracial marriages.
States in this country where Ken and I couldn't even be married. Our marriage would not have been legally acceptable. We would not have been able to live together as a couple.
If I, as a foreigner, can immigrate through marriage, then I feel that Thomas has the same right to as a gay couple.
It has been a challenge living in Germany. All the problems that we had in the United States really are solved. Those problems are solved. However, we have a new set of problems. We don't have to deal with any kind of immigration issues. I'm legal in Germany. I don't have to worry about being deported. It's Thomas's country, so he doesn't have to worry about that. So that's a weight off of our shoulders. Germany's a little bit. I don't want to say it's a disappointment. It's not a disappointment. It is. We had raised our expectations of how much Germany was going to change our lives, probably to a level that was unrealistic. I think we had made Germany, somehow I think we had made it the answer to all of our questions, which was setting us up a little bit for disappointment coming here.
I can see changes in Tony. I mean, when we first moved here, he was so depressed. There was a 2-week period where he could not sleep at night. He woke up.
That's true.
He went to bed at 10, woke up at 12, and he was awake until 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't even think about that.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And you were by the end of the 2-week period, you were so exhausted.
I was exhausted.
You were in tears. You went to bed and you were like, I can't sleep again. And I couldn't sleep because I was so worried. We were awake all night long for a couple of weeks, and we were just.
That's true.
We were so exhausted, and you were anxious. You had so much anxiety in you.
Yeah, I don't even really know what it was all about. I guess it was just a massive amount of change all happening at one time. There was no decision to come back to Germany. It was just a necessity,
right.
And that made it hard for me to leave. And I think it continues to be a real big issue for me because if you don't choose to do something, if you're kind of forced into it, it gives you this kind of victim mentality, which is damaging. I just feel exhausted by life and how many places we've lived and how many times we've moved and how many people we've known and how many and interestingly, I don't really love Germany so much that I want to stay here. So it suggests that we're going to have to make another move back to the United States to get back to our old life, which kind of makes it pointless to be here because it's kind of like we're building a life here just to leave it again when we finally can. I don't think I even realized what I had accomplished in the United States until I left it. It was fascinating to come here and be reduced to the level. I mean, I spoke like a child. I was reduced to the level of a child. I was trying to function in a job at that level. I had people completely dismissing my education because they didn't know what it meant. They didn't know what my degrees were. They didn't understand how that could be applied to various jobs. I was not really prepared to have this kind of refugee mentality when I got here, and having an enormous amount of what I had achieved in the United States just kind of stripped away and starting over. Really, really completely starting over. Times I feel like I'm 10 years old, but I'm 35, so it's psychologically that's a little bit difficult to deal with. Getting here to Germany, the first thing we had to do is we actually had to get our partnership. I didn't think a piece of paper would really make a difference. I mean, we've been together for like, at that point, over 10 years. And I thought, yeah, what do I care if this person gives me a piece of paper? Like, 10 years. I was almost insulted that I had to go get the piece of paper because it was like, how dare you make me get a piece of paper to prove that I've actually had a relationship which I've already had for 10 years, Then walked in there and it was really funny. It was like we went in and this woman who we didn't even know, filled out this paperwork, and it wasn't even really nice looking paper. It wasn't like fancy, like a certificate or anything. It was just like stupid paper, filled in our names and asked us if we wanted to change one of our names. Like, do you want to take his name? And I was like, I almost started laughing because I was like, take his name? Is that a choice? Like, can you do that? It was really a weird situation, and gosh. Obviously. Yeah, obviously the paper meant a lot. And some woman that I didn't even know putting the stamp on it. Obviously meant a lot. I guess I didn't even realize how much it meant.
I continued my studies here in Germany. I started studying chemistry in the States and came here, and I transferred some of my credits to a German university. This was also like a big problem because they didn't acknowledge all of the credit. It takes about 6 semesters to get a bachelor's degree here. And they did acknowledge some of my credits from the States, but I still have to go through all the 6 semesters because I didn't do all of the courses you need for the first semester or for the second semester. So I have to go through everything again. I need at least until 2006 before I get my bachelor's degree. And that's how long we're planning on staying here, definitely. And then, we would like to live in the States, and depending on the political situation, we would move. We always have the feeling of it's just for a certain time. We can't really settle down.
And it affects everything.
Yeah, I mean, we could settle down here, but we don't really want to. Plus, I'm 35, and age is a big thing in Germany. When I have my bachelor degree and I'm 35, no one's going to hire me. That's the big thing here in Germany. If I'm in the States, people don't really care about the age. They care about the experience, which is a good thing. But in Germany, they look at you and they say you're 35. I don't think so.
Yeah, I always think about this old movie. They had this movie Logan's Run in the late 70s where they took these, like their life, like when you hit 30, they killed you. Like they took you into this.
That's how I feel in Germany.
They took you into this big
Honestly.
dome and you floated up in the air and then you exploded in the air. And obviously, this was a movie about Germany.